Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's meditation session. It's Monday, the beginning of a new week. No matter how busy you were for the whole day, if you are joining the session, otherwise whereby or YouTube, let's sit together to explore the mind, to calm down deeply. In this busy and chaotic world, it is always good for us to look within, trying to understand ourselves a little bit more. There are so many things around us blocking us from seeing each other. So many things that is affecting us. So it's never easy to say truly calm down. We can claim that we are calm, but deep inside, there's a turbulence always there. We don't need to claim whether we are calm or not, but looking within is to understand the facts about this turbulence, the chaos of the inner mind. This whole world is fraught with all kinds of influences. People resort to expressing themselves in one way or another. That very expression of the self triggers more self. So the chaotic world is the consequence of the conflicts between different self. Everyone is running the self to defend it, hopefully to cover a niche, to occupy an area for the sense of security psychologically. This kind of a seeking can be very contagious because this concept is very convenient. People don't need to think deep and they can take it easily. But if they don't go deep, it's easy for people to be misled by this. That's the world. All kinds of rumors, all kinds of nonsense can travel so fast to influence people because it's so instant, like instant noodles. You can eat it immediately. But about the truth, the nature mind, it never travels so fast. Most people prefer watching an entertainment program rather than meditating, right? Because the convenience always comes first. But unfortunately, all the truth can be very simple, but it's never convenient. Because convenient is a concept from the thought. And convenient is something can be imagined easily. But truth is unimaginable. In a world where people are living with thoughts, living by thoughts, they could not figure out the facts, the truth, because facts and truth lies beyond the thoughts. And people want to think about that and try to use those to visualize it. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. Unless they decide to end the thoughts, end the self, walking out of thoughts, people could see the fact. This requires a lot of adjustment from people. I can't help, you can't help. Unless people want to work out thoughts without any choice. It's up to them to take actions, to look within, to end the chaos. Or else, there's nobody else really can persuade or help him or her to work out the thoughts. So before we continue the session, let's still keep silent for 3 minutes, just to calm down. I guess you might be very busy for the whole day, or maybe occupied with all kinds of thoughts, plans, or all kinds of things, stuff. Let's try to amputate. Nothing really matters, right? It's a fact. Nothing really matters. Can you just immediately empty your mind? And then we can come back to the session today. today's topic, let's look at pain. Not only the psychological pain, which is almost everybody is facing now, at each day, each moment. But today, let's look at also the physical pain, which also part of this life experience. No matter at which stage of life you are in, this physical pain is always inevitable. It comes from all kinds of disease, illness, from many different factors. And of course, where there's a physical pain, it can be easy to trigger some thoughts about that. Today, let's look at it from the nature of mind to explore this topic together. So again, it's not you that listen to me, but listen to your heart to explore your mind, to understand this fact. What I said here is very limited due to the language. Even I speak English, but no matter which language I speak, there's always a limitation in the language, the symbols, which only can make things more extreme and absolute. It is up to you to go beyond the language by watching your mind. Observe your inner world to understand. Last Friday, I went to the forest for a very relaxing walk, but unfortunately, the day after, I caught a very severe cold with a very terrible backache. The physical pain. It lasted for about 3 days until this morning. It receded totally. I guess you might also have similar experiences in the past few weeks, months, maybe also very recently. But how we look at it, matters most, right? The physical pain is inevitable because we had a body. The body must be subjected to so many biological factors, elements, or whatever. From the first day one person was born, one has gone through so many different kinds of disease, illness, to grow up, to get old. This is the nature of life, right? The circle of life, dominated by the nature, which is unfathomable. Because this nature lies beyond thoughts. The very effort to understand this nature is to accept it, make peace with it. Not to get bogged down by about biology, which become another presency people are seeking. That's not to understand it, but to see the nature of it and be peaceful with it. That's the way to understand life, right? When we have physical pain, what should we do? Should we be crazy about that? Should we be afraid of that? Should we resort to self-defense to make us feel better? When there's a pain, right, it's kind of easy to trigger so many thoughts from people, especially some severe pain, which might be life-threatening. It might trigger some people's fear towards death. Then the self-defense comes, and the mind is into a turbulence mood. Have you ever simply noticed the pain without any interpretation or running away from it? To look at the pain carefully and subtly, but beyond the thoughts. Here, it doesn't mean that you should not take medicine. You should, right? There's medicine, we can take it to relieve the pain. But how can you psychologically look at the pain? Even you take medicine, you still need to sort out the relationship between you and the pain, right? What is physical pain? I think there's no point to explain it in languages. You can feel it. Everybody can feel it, right? This kind of physical sensation. Where do they come from? Don't they come from the neuron activities, right? Whereas there's some kind of a change of the new cells releasing some chemicals into your liquid in the body. There can be some neuron responses to it, which has caused the neural activities to give you the signal that something is wrong with the body. So without any thoughts, this pain actually itself is a self-protection. Is a self-protection, right? What are thoughts? Aren't thoughts also the consequence of the neuron activities, right? So the physical pain and thoughts are both the consequence of neural activities. So if you react to the pain, actually you react to the thoughts about the pain. In that situation, you have activated more neuron paths. What can be the consequence of this? When the neuron paths of the physical pain and that of the thoughts are interwoven, what could happen? The physical pain can be distorted, right, by the thoughts. It might perpetuate, might aggravate, might just give you some different sensation, which make it difficult to diagnose. This feature of the body is very tricky, but it's very common in our life experience. Look at the whole medical world. There are so many symptoms simply comes from the combination of the thoughts and physical pain, making it difficult to diagnose. And everybody who is affected also have to face these mental challenges. Yes, thoughts can really change the sensations, right? I think you have this abundant life experience if you can try to observe your life. When you are trapped by thoughts, your perception towards the world can be very different from when you are really quiet. When people is trapped in thoughts, all kind of desire can arise to let people take some very disruptive and strange behaviors, actions. But when people really calm down, for them, this can be difficult. They even don't understand why they have done that or this. It is just the same principle running behind this, is that our thoughts can change our sensations because they are all neuron activities. Just as we said before, the physical pain can trigger thoughts, and the thoughts always have a center, right? The center is the self. So, in many situations, the physical pain can trigger the self. And when the self is triggered, all the skills follows. So, up to now, I think you probably haven't come to realize that the wisdom is to reduce the unnecessary neuron activities as much as possible. Thoughts only adds problems to the situation. Never helps. Not only distort the symptoms, also sometimes aggravate and burden your mind. Okay, so now it's up to the middle of the session. It's time for us to meditate again. We have talked a lot today about the physical pain, but it is always good for us to slow down a little bit, empty the mind, empty what have we discussed. To come back to this moment. We have this discussion, which is meditation, if we can observe the mind. But if you just purely interested in what I said, then it's not meditation. It's another mental game, like reading books, trigger some thoughts. So the purpose is to reflect and understand ourselves a little better. Not to listen to stories I tell if you regard me as a storyteller. So the top priority is always walk out of thoughts. Then there's a chance for us to understand the nature of mind, to understand the self. Okay, let's follow the audio guide. Let it be. Let it go. Thoughts are unimportant in any ways. So just come back gently, instantly. Now, let's take a 10-minute meditation. Start by taking a moment to find a comfortable position to sit in a posture that you feel relaxed and get alert. Let hands rest on your knees or laps. Let the eyes close gently. Soften your forehead. Act a soft smile in the corner of your lips. Breathe naturally. As you breathe in, be aware that you are breathing in. Feel the sensation of breathing in. The region can be the nostrils, can be the belly, can be anywhere. Focus on the part you feel most. As you breathe out, be aware that you are breathing out. Feel the sensation of breathing out. The region can be the nostrils, can be the belly, can be anywhere. Focus on the part you feel most. Fix your attention on the breath. Let go of any thought, words, images. This moment, nothing is more important than breath. While you are listening to the bell, check where your attention is. If it wasn't on the breath, after the bell, Gently invite your attention back to the breath and sustain your attention on the breath. Slowly bring your awareness back to this room. Feel into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. I hope everybody has come down to some extent in the past 10 minutes with meditation session. As you may have noticed, at the beginning of the session, the breath meditation, it might be difficult to feel the sensation from breath because there are so many other neuron activities running in the head, like thoughts, whatever. So we can say that those interference from other neuron activities make it difficult to feel the breath until this neuron path ends gradually as you pay attention to the breath, not those other stuff. It is also similar to what we have discussed in the first half of the session, right? The pain, the physical pain, the sensation from the body, it also can be covered, can be distorted, changed by other neuron activities. So, to be peaceful, even when we are going through the physical pain, one has to give awareness to the thoughts all the time, even in physical pains. To be aware of the self, the very subtle form of film, the very subtle form of the self, reflected in every corner of the life, is to meditate. Not necessarily breath meditation, which is also a very good way to help one evoke thought. But the awareness is through your life to understand how petty the mind is in supporting the activities of the self, which is also very subtle. It is so subtle, right? You have to be so careful, and your mind also has to be subtle to be able to notice it when your mind is very quiet. The physical pain is unavoidable, but the mental sufferings you can avoid, if I choose the verb avoid, by understanding the nature of it. Then you have the solution, the wisdom to adjust the mind. To be peaceful is to be no self, to end the self. How? I don't know. because you understand yourself best, and you know as you observe the nature of mind, all the things running through your head, you can find your way to end the self, to return to peace and calm. And I also can do that. But there's no point to share this with you because my method won't apply to you, and sharing with you only as the kills to your mind when I express it in verse or languages. So the truth is there, but there's no common path to it. And there's a shortcut, but it's only when you observe the mind. That's the only way. That's also the shortcut. The shortcut is the only way. The only way is the shortcut to understand the whole part of the mind, the totality of it. So you say, this is life. Life, the physical life and the mental life, they are on two tracks, but they are in the same body, supported by neurons. And for the physical life, we have given too much thought to it, interpreted, creating all kinds of stories, illusions about life, for the purpose of avoiding the fact, for the purpose of running away from it. We have gone too far on this planet. Not physically, because we are still living on Earth, but mentally. Unfortunately, still limited by thoughts, since thoughts are always limited. All the pains, problems, comes only from thoughts. So it might leave you an impression that, we should not think, we should have no thoughts. Actually, it's not that so simple. Because having thoughts probably is also the fact of the life. But working out of thoughts means that working out of the attachment to the thoughts. You can have thoughts. You can still enjoy some very pleasant ideas from thoughts. But when you realize, it's just totally attachment, it can be attached to it, then you have the awareness not to be attached to it. Thoughts are always limited and illusions. So to take care of life, we need to see the facts also about this part. Thoughts is there, but whether you are attached to it or not matters so much. How can we not to be attached to it? Some people may ask. To see the totality. To see the totality of life, the mind, which is directly concerned with the facts, the truth about life. Because for most of us, it's so easy to be trapped in details, all kinds of thoughts, which is support all kinds of subtle details. Then we forget the whole part. look at this whole world. The people are divided by thoughts, are divided by all kinds of ideologies, because they never look at the whole part. They only trapped by the small part of life, which is all kinds of thoughts, ideologies. So we have formed so many different communities, which are unfortunately divided by thoughts. And many people are seeking belonging to this community. No, it's not mine. I need to go to another one. Oh no, it's not mine. Look at this kind of habit we have had. Try to define ourselves by thoughts. Unless we see the totality of the thought, the function of it on the mind, on life, then there's a chance we can be attached to it. Because when we see the fact, okay, yeah, thoughts are so limited, only creates all kinds of illusions, and my sufferings actually come from these illusions, why should I be attached to it? Then there's a change, mutation from within. That's the only hope that the whole society can change. For the better, I mean. You can't just simply enforce a law. Of course, the laws is important in some aspect. But to live peacefully, harmoniously on this planet, it needs more from the change from within, rather than from any stuff enforced by outside authority. So, do you want to embrace this change? Do you want to embrace this life with facts? It's up to you, everyone. It's up to you to think inward, to look at these facts, to feel it yourself. Mindfulness gave you the freedom, but you had to be free first to look within. The end of meditation is freedom, which is also the first step of meditation. The last step is the first step. Okay, that's all for today's session. We have talked about the physical pain and our attitude towards this part. Pain can be disturbing, but it's a judgment. But if you regard it as part of life, that's the beauty, right? That's the beauty of life. Fun neurons, so rich experiences. And of course, nothing is permanent. The pain is not permanent. Of course, you also need to take a medicine to relieve it, and there's no point to enjoy in such a deep level, right? This can be very terrible. Take a medicine, no problem, but our attitudes towards the pain matters most.
Cico, can I ask you this question?
Yeah, please.
I was wondering if you meditate and observe the mind, in what way does pain change? Or is that difficult to tell?
It's difficult to tell. Maybe here I have to go a little personally, because everybody has different form of this kind of issues. in the past, about 10 years ago, I also had some disease. At first, it was very severe, and I took medicine. It alleviated, but it's for me, it's in the last stage of the disease when just between fully recovered and the symptoms still stayed for a little longer. So during that part, my thoughts play a role in there. Actually, so in retrospect, I have recovered actually quite earlier, but my thought about this symptom so misled me to feel that there's still some slight symptom which lasts a few months. So in that sense, I noticed that okay, my thoughts could distort my perception toward this pain. And also because I keep thinking about that, this kind of thoughts perpetuate this reaction to pain. And sometimes it just complicates the symptoms. It may not aggravate, but it might distract one from feeling the pain directly. So that's the chaos from the thoughts that could have an influence on us. And actually, the thoughts is only the addition of the neuron paths activities. It won't contribute to the recession of the physical pain. So that's why, for us, for everyone, look at thoughts, look at the pain. Try not to get thoughts involved in it. Take it easy. You need to resort to some solution, like take a medicine to alleviate the pain, to make you feel endurable. But at the same time, play it light, play it easy. Feel easy about that. Don't think about too much, because sometimes it can trigger us thoughts about life and death, serious thoughts, and it's a self-defense, which is different from self-protection, right? I hope my personal experience answered your question, Bob.
Yes, I still have one little question. You mentioned you had some kind of disease, and after that you still felt pain. But as I am I right? If do I understand you correctly? If you say that the pain was perpetuated while there was not a physical reason for that.
You can say that, but I also notice that it can be very limited to articulate what language is, and whether it's the same pain or not, I don't know. It might be from the thoughts which trigger some other neuron paths, which mislead me to feel there's some pain, but actually has nothing to do with the previous symptoms. So because for this kind of chronic disease, I notice that every time I go recover from it, my thoughts or my mood needs much longer time to recover. So, and I notice that many people also have similar experiences. The mental burden when people get ill, sometimes it's bigger than the illness itself. So hopefully, while this session today, let's just deliver a message to people. no matter in which condition you are. Don't forget to take care of the mind.
I think that's absolutely true, and I'm speaking from my own experience. The example was, beautiful example, and I will listen again to this session later, and I want to thank you for this, for this session.
First, you're welcome, Bob. Second, no, so I've noticed that for this part, not so many people discuss about that, because it's easy for people to be trapped in thoughts when talking about this again. So I was fortunate to be able to share this message with more people. It can be very intimate, very personal, but it's also very common because we are all humans. We have shared a lot of very similar experiences, even in different situations. And it is always good for us to speak out, to give everyone a confirmation about this kind of a mysterious experience of life. It's not so experienced because we don't talk about that. That's why it's becoming mysterious. But if we can face it every day, there will be a change of the psyche of everyone on this planet. To face the facts, to be truly honest with ourselves. And then when it's true honesty running through the society, how can the harmony not arise, not appear? Right? So, yeah, Bob, anything to say?
Well, thank you very much. I already said that, but thank you for this session, because I think it especially applies to me.
Apply to you, apply to everybody, hopefully. So that's all for today's session, and thank you for everybody joining the session via YouTube. And everything depends on your observance, on your exploration into life. We can only discuss in a very limited way, and probably the languages can only send us to here. And for the rest of the journey, it relies on yourself to look at it, to feel it, to enjoy this beauty of life. So when you really look within, the very observance of this whole process is becoming very entertaining, very joyful. And fortunately, there's no opposite to it. No sufferings when you observe this peacefully. And today is Monday, so I hope everybody has a good week ahead. Enjoy the good weather, maybe the hot wave in the coming days. And hopefully see you guys in the future sessions. Stay peace, stay calm. That's the biggest wisdom we can have.
Have a happy and relaxed week ahead, Cico, and also do my greetings to Joyce and everyone who is attending this session. Be happy and enjoy this next week. Thank you.
So that's all, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.